Hello there, and welcome back. I'm on page 18 of our work text, and we have some word problems to do using the skills that you've already learned. And let me just flip back through. I won't do this often, but remember we're in the ratio section. So we started out with describing what a ratio is. And then we talked about equivalent ratios, reducing them especially to lower terms. We talked about unit rates in the last video. So these word problems will just combine all of those skills that you've learned and give you a chance to practice them in context. And I think that's very, very important. Sometimes we spend a lot of time learning skills, but then when the time comes to use those skills, it's a little harder to do. So these will give you some real life examples and hopefully make those skills a little more practical to you. So I'm on page 18 and we're looking at problem 1. A 3-pound bag of rice costs $3.87. What is the unit price per pound? So the key here, always look at your question for, in other words, here's the question. So what is the clue in the question that's telling me what to do? And right there it is, unit price or unit price per. So I know that I'm having to find a unit rate. So I will have to set up a ratio. Then I'll look back into my problem to find the units. So I'm comparing pounds and dollars. And remember, I told you if you're dealing with dollars, it's not a rule, it's a suggestion that you put that on top. So our comparison is between dollars and pounds. And then you can set up your ratio of $3.87 to 3 pounds. And if we're looking for a unit rate, I know that I'm going to have a 1 there. So I have to divide by 3. It's the only way to get a 1 there. And I'm not going to attempt this in my head. I have learned my lesson. $1.29, you don't even have to round it. So the unit rate is $1.29 per pound. And that's the answer. So the skills are exactly what we've been doing. We just have to set the problem up, and that takes a little bit of practice. It takes a lot of practice. The more you practice these word problems, the better you will be. Okay, number 2. Samantha is comparing. Okay, there is a huge clue. If I'm comparing something, that is probably going to involve a ratio, especially if it's prices. 2 boxes of cereal. Box A contains 12 ounces of cereal and costs $2.88. Box B contains 16 ounces of cereal and costs $3.52. Use unit rates, so they're even spelling out for me what I need to do to explain which box is the better buy. So I've drawn 2 boxes. Box B is larger. It contains 16 ounces. So I'm going to go ahead and let this be box B, and this is box A. So this one goes with the blue writing up there. And then the green one is box B. Guys, color can help you tremendously if you have especially learning problems like I do. It can help you to organize very well. Okay, box A has 12 ounces and costs $2.88. Box B has 16 ounces and costs $3.52. and I'm supposed to find the unit rates. So money over unit is going to be 288 over 12. And we want to look at the cost per ounce. So we're going to say 288 divided by 12 is 0.24 or 24 cents per ounce. And then I have to remember we're comparing, so I have to do that again using the other price. If you like to shop at Sam's Club or Costco, this is a really good skill to know, because sometimes the bigger boxes are not a better buy. And it helps if you are able to figure out by the ounce or the pound or whatever, which is the better buy. Now in this case, it looks like the bigger box is a better deal. And here's how I would say that, because remember they want me to explain. Because box B has a lower unit rate, it is the better buy. And just a consumer math tip for you. If you are going to compare prices, do it at the unit rate. Don't try to compare them based on anything else. Break it down to that unit rate. And if you notice, here was this one, and here was this one. So box A is actually 24 cents. Box B is 22 cents per ounce. So if you buy box A, you're paying 2 cents more for every ounce. It's a good problem for comparison shopping. Okay, the next page. This is page 19. Ava read 97.5 books in 1 year and 1 month. How many books per month did she read? Well, I always want to pay attention to my question. And there is a unit rate. They're even telling me how to set it up. Books over months. So when I go to set this problem up, that's exactly how I want to do it. Books over months. So we know that there are how many books? No problem there. How many months? Now be careful here. It's not 1 month, it's 1 year and 1 month. So the 1 year is 12 months plus 1 more month. That's a total of 13 months. So be very careful right there that you get the right number down there for months. And then once you have that, you can go ahead and break it down to the month. So 97.5, is it about 8? It is, but not exactly, so don't make guesses. 7.5 books per month. That's pretty good, depending on what kind of books they are. Now, if they're just, I don't know how old Ava is, but even if she's a little kid, that's still pretty good for 1 month of reading. She's certainly doing better than I would be doing. Okay, number 4. Connor filled his 99.2 gallon pool with water in 8 hours. How many gallons per minute did he use? And I have a misspelling there. I'm sure you have already noticed. We are looking at gallons per, not menu, minute. I'm sorry, guys. That should say minute. Did he use? Be careful here. This one is kind of a dangerous problem if you're not paying attention. The gallon is no problem. But look right there. 8 hours. So they tell me hours and then ask me about minutes. So that's an issue that we're going to have to address. But here is your unit rate. They're telling you how to set it up. Gallons over minute. And we know that there are 99.2 gallons in 8 minutes. No, 8 hours. So we have a problem right there. We're going to have to work with that a little bit. So we're going to say 8 times how many minutes are in an hour. And that answer, use your calculator, is 480 minutes. Okay, so we have to be really careful there that we're getting that in terms of minutes. So now that we have 99.2 over 480, we need to go ahead and take that down to the per minute. So we're going to say 480. This is a tough problem. Into there, because remember we want a 1 down there. And then I have no idea what that's going to be. 99.2 divided by 480. It's ugly, but that's okay. Those 6's repeat. So I'm going to say, I'm going to pull him right up here so we can, about 21/100ths of a gallon per minute. It's about 1/5 of a gallon every minute. So about 5 minutes per gallon. Okay, let's look at the last problem here. Sophia earned $24.75 in 3 hours. How many dollars did she earn per hour? So highlight your question and then look for your clues. And it's right there. Dollars per hour. You see how those unit rates just jump at you if you know what you're looking for? Always highlight your question, either on your paper or in your mind, and then look for the clues in the question. And they'll be there. Most always there will be clues in that question. Okay, dollars on top. Again, that's not a rule. It's just a suggestion. Hours on the bottom. Actually, in this one, it does need to be on top because that's the order of the question. So dollars per hour, dollars over hours. So $24.75, and don't lose your decimal, in 3 hours. And we want to break that down to a single hour. So let's say 3 in there and 3 in there. That'll be 1. And I can do this one in my head. $8.25 per hour is your answer. Not 82, $8.25 per hour. So those are just some application problems with unit rates. Hopefully they're not too terribly bad. I would recommend that you watch the video more than once if you need to really get the hang of these, because they're good example problems if you're tested on unit rate. Okay, in the next video, I will show you how to solve a proportion, and we will then move on to more word problems, lots of them, which are my favorite thing. So I will see you soon for page 20.